Novel title, Hail the King. Chapter 15, The Cure. For the severely injured soldiers who had no chance of survival, there was a way for them to be euthanized by using a small, yet deadly hammer to nail a needle into the weak spot on the back of their head. They would be killed instantly without experiencing any pain. For injuries like Pierce's, the euthanasia would be performed. However, after considering that Pierce was one of the strongest men in Chambord, the fact that he had destroyed 2 siege ladders during the battle, and the advice of the second commander Brooke, he wasn't euthanized yet. How is he doing? Faye asked the doctor, hoping to get some good news. I'm very sorry, Your Majesty. We tried our best, but his internal organs were shocked and almost torn open. Even the high-class priests from the Holy Church can't do anything about it. Priests. This word caught Faye's attention, but now was not the right time to ask questions regarding that. Faye had to come up with a solution to this problem. 2 other doctors came up and bowed to Faye. One was holding a wooden tray. A small hammer and a bizarre-looking needle were placed on the tray. They were the tools for euthanasia. Pierce was the last severely injured person in the facility. Although he fainted, everyone could see that his body was still experiencing a lot of pain. These injuries might not have been able to kill him right away, but the blood from his wounds and mouth were flowing like water pouring out of a bottle. An older-looking doctor lifted Pierce off the ground. The other doctor placed the nail at the back of Pierce's head and raised the hammer with his other arm. Wait. Faye had to stop the actions of the doctors. He just couldn't let a real warrior die like this. Real warriors deserved to die on the battlefield. A death like this would bring shame upon a man like Pierce. Moreover, Faye didn't want to let Pierce die. But, how can I save him? Faye had to think fast. At this moment, as if Pierce sensed the tension in the room, he woke up. He saw King Alexander standing in front of him, as well as the doctors. Eventually, his eyes finally focused onto the hammer. A smile shined on his face. Is it my turn now? Go ahead. Pierce didn't say anything to Faye. He fainted before Faye surprised everyone, so he didn't know that the retarded king was now officially the hero of Chambord. The doctor raised the hammer again. Wait. Faye stopped it again. He looked down at Pierce fading in and out of consciousness, and then an idea flashed through his mind. Pierce, I know how to save you, but you may have to endure a ton of pain. He said. You. King Alexander, this joke is not funny. If you do care for your soldiers, then please spare some bread for my poor daughter Louise. Although Pierce wasn't fully conscious, he didn't trust the king in front of him one bit. Trusting the words of a retard. Do you think I'm a retard too? Only when he spoke of his daughter did Faye see the worries in the man, who wasn't even afraid of the enemy sword. What? You scared of pain? Faye lowered his body and scoffed at Pierce. He did it on purpose, it worked like a charm. Pierce easily fell for it. The tempered man was enraged. Like a lion whose mate had been taken, Pierce struggled to sit up, causing all his wounds to bleed once more. I'm scared of pain. Faye was scared. This man really had a strong sense of pride. Faye didn't want to irritate Pierce too much or he would literally die from bleeding. Endure it if you are not afraid of the pain. Do it for your daughter. He said that to Pierce before he left the healing facility. Just as he walked out of the facility, Brooke had arrived with Angela and Emma. Angela's and Emma's cheeks were really red. They stared at Faye when they saw him. They still couldn't believe what they had heard. Your Majesty, Pierce. Brooke asked with hope. There might be a way to save him. Faye wasn't too sure about his idea. I can only try my best. If I'm lucky, Pierce won't die. Great. Faye's answer was beyond Brooke's expectation. As a commander of the King's Guards, Brooke had seen a lot of death and injuries. He knew exactly how severe Pierce's injuries were. Death was almost guaranteed. He only asked the king due to desperation, but he didn't expect that the king to really have a cure. Oh Brooke, one more thing. Why is the healing facility so poor? Don't we have a better place for our warriors to stay in? Faye was very unsatisfied with this so-called healing facility. This question caught Brooke off guard. He wanted to say something, but he stopped himself. Emma took deep breaths behind Brooke. She wasn't used to all the sprinting. After hearing Faye's question, she didn't hold back at all. She said sarcastically, isn't this all you're doing? If it wasn't for your Majesty listening to that Gil's words, and selling all the valuable items in the healing facilities to have some fun, expelling all the doctors and even taking off all the windows, the healing facility wouldn't be looking like this. Faye didn't know what to say. I really was a retard and a dumbass back then. He thought to himself. Are there any other larger places that are more suitable for keeping all the wounded soldiers? Faye asked Brooke without saying anything back to Emma. The church at Chambord, as well as the head minister Barzil's mansion are suitable, but Brooke hesitated as he continued speaking. But what? Faye was curious. Brooke didn't know how to respond to the question. The two places that Uncle Brooke mentioned do have enough space for these soldiers, but Alexander, you can't move them there. Angela, who was previously quiet, explained patiently. The priests left Chambord Castle and the church was locked down. We don't have the authority to use it, or we will be heavily punished by the Holy Church. There aren't any empires on this Azeroth continent that dare go against the Holy Church's rules and orders. Head Minister Barzil's mansion is not very convenient right now. The explanation was pretty vague. Faye still didn't fully understand everything. Although he had inherited Alexander's previous memories, his understanding of this world was still minimal. He saw that Angela was very serious and wanted to tease her a bit. Is the Holy Church that powerful? Even a king can't order them. Blonde-haired Emma began to object. Faye again. When the priests in the castle were leaving, even the enemies that surrounded our castle didn't dare stop them. They had to let them out respectfully. What do you think about the Holy Church's power now? Even the most powerful level 9 empires don't dare to go against the Holy Church so blatantly. Faye laughed nervously and didn't stress on that question anymore. His knowledge regarding the continent was just too little. If he continued asking stupid questions, the others might have gotten suspicious of him. He quickly shifted the attention of the three people away from that subject. All right then, are there any other places aside from the church and Head Minister Barzil's mansion? Brooke shook his head. Angela and Emma did the same. They didn't have any good ideas either. After seeing this, Faye rubbed his chin. He was considering Barzil's mansion. Barzil's son Gil had tried to kill me. If he was like that, his father probably isn't someone bright as well. Which place? Faye, Angela, and Brooke were all surprised. Forcing these kinds of people to share their property, by using his authority as the king, would not cause Faye to feel any guilt. At this moment. I know another place. Emma yelled suddenly.